Today, we're jumping into a piece from the We the People Academy series called Truth Shapes Freedom, and it gets right to a huge question. What's the real connection between what we believe is true and the freedoms we actually get to enjoy? Turns out, it's a way bigger connection than you might think. So, let's dive in.
You know, the whole piece really hangs on this one question. We're not talking about just laws or elections here. We're talking about the very foundation. What is it that holds a free society together and keeps it from falling apart? The answer it proposes is, well, it's a powerful one, and for a lot of people, a really challenging one.
To get us thinking, the source kicks things off with a simple story. Picture this. 3 people are totally lost in the woods. One person swears north is this way. Another points in the complete opposite direction. And the third one? They just say that north is whatever you feel it is. So, who's right? And, maybe more importantly, what happens if they can't agree on a real answer?
And that little story brings us to the first big idea. The text suggests that objective truth works exactly like a compass. It's supposed to be this external, reliable guide that helps us find our way, not just when we're lost in the forest, but in society itself.
This right here is the heart of the argument. Think about it. Magnetic north is a fact, whether you believe in it or not. In the same way, this piece claims there are objective truths that exist completely separate from our own opinions, our feelings, or how loudly we argue our case.
Okay, so if these objective truths are out there, how do we even see them or make sense of them? Well, the source introduces this idea of a worldview. You can think of it like a pair of glasses that every single one of us wears, usually without even knowing it, that colors how we see everything around us.
To put it simply, your worldview is the lens you use to make sense of reality. And the text makes a huge point here. Everyone has one. It doesn't matter if you consciously chose it or just kind of absorbed it from the culture. This lens impacts every single decision you make and everything you believe in.
So, a worldview isn't just a list of your opinions. It's more like the operating system for your brain. It's what you use to answer life's biggest questions. And according to this text, the answers you come up with for these questions directly shape how you think about freedom and your place in the world.
All right, this is where it all clicks together. The source makes a really direct, really bold claim. A stable, objective concept of truth is absolutely essential for a free society to survive. And it's not presented as just some philosophical idea. It's framed as a total civic necessity.
This chart really lays out the two paths. On one side, you have a society built on objective truth, which gives you a solid foundation, a north star for things like justice and holding leaders accountable. But on the other side, you have a society based on relative truth, where truth is just whatever you want it to be. And that's like building a house on sand. Justice can change on a whim, and holding power in check becomes almost impossible.
This quote nails the central point. You know, we often think of clear moral rules as something that restricts our freedom, but this perspective completely flips that on its head. It argues that those very rules are what create the stable, predictable playground where real freedom can actually exist and grow.
So where does this kind of unshakable truth come from? Well, according to this source material, it's not something people just invent. The text is very specific that its perspective is rooted in Scripture, that truth originates from God. And this divine truth is then presented as a powerful tool, something that can expose lies, keep power in check, and, on a personal level, help build integrity.
Okay, so that's the high-level theory. But what does this actually look like in our day-to-day lives? The source is really quick to bring this down to earth, showing how this whole conflict between different ideas of truth plays out in the real world for real people.
The text zeroes in on a conflict I think we all feel, especially with social media. On one side, you have this constant pressure to just do what everyone else is doing, to follow your feelings wherever they lead. But on the other side is what the source calls truth, that internal compass that nudges you to do what's right and to measure your feelings against a higher standard.
And hey, this isn't just a challenge for young people. It's pointed out that adults face these exact same choices every single day, at our jobs, in our neighborhoods, even inside our own families. The core idea here is that these small personal decisions to choose truth over what's easy are the very building blocks of a healthy, free society.
To wrap it all up, the source doesn't just want you to think about these ideas, it actually challenges you to do something with them. It gives you a way to take all these big concepts and apply them directly to your own life and your own worldview.
So here's the challenge it leaves us with. First, just try to write down 3 truths that you believe are permanent, things that are non-negotiable for you. Then, for each of those truths, connect it back to the big picture.
Explain why that specific truth matters for a free society to work. It's a simple little exercise, but a really powerful one for clarifying not just what you believe, but why it matters for all of us.
And we'll finish on this final thought from the source. The ultimate message here is that being committed to truth isn't just about being right. It's about building character. It's about becoming a reliable, steady person, the kind of person the text argues that a healthy, free society is built on. And that really leaves us with something to think about. What role does truth play in making you a steady person?